What's up, you guys? It is Mary.
And Alma.
We invite you guys to like,
Subscribe,
share,
and comment
down below, you all, because today we are reviewing an episode of Evil Lives Here. I know some of you guys have been asking for us to do some of these crime shows.
Why?
Listen, I'm not going to say
I have been avoiding watching these Evil Lives Here show for a couple of years.
A couple of years, yes, but I have actually...
I just refuse to watch shows like that, but...
I know. I mean, I have always watched those shows, and it's not because I'm mentally ill, but it's actually because, I actually like to watch these shows for signs that I should look out for in people. You know what I'm saying? Because it keeps me aware, and it lets me know what are the red flags. And it has really helped me in life. So that's why I used to watch Evil Lives Here and Fear Thy Neighbor. So that's the only reason why. But when y'all said, can we do crime shows? I was like, yes! I finally have an excuse for her to watch it with me.
It's so interesting. The one that...
Because we had talked about it.
This is a recent one, right? The most recent one.
Yes. Yeah.
That came on, but it was fun because...
She actually wanted to talk about this lady.
I had watched something on the news, and it was about this lady, this stuff that we're going to talk about.
Her name's Faith Green.
This had happened to her 6 years ago.
Yes.
And so I was telling Mary about this, and I was like, wow. I said the story, like, it was just, like, hit me to my core, and I was just like, I want to talk about something like this on the show. And so...
And then I fast forward. I was looking at what episode should I see. I was asking her about all the different ones. She's like, I don't even care.
And we did not know until it started, and we saw the name Faith. I said, that is the lady.
I know. Her. It was such a coincidence.
I said, that's the guy, because I remember seeing him in the courtroom.
Yeah. But Mom was like, whatever. Just choose whichever one. I don't even care. So that's how it came about. Yeah. So this is going to be our first Evil Lives Here. We've watched 4 episodes, and we watched 1 episode of Fear Thy Neighbor. So we'll review those ones later. But if you guys like this video, we invite you guys. Did we say like, share, and subscribe? I don't know. But like, share, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts. But y'all, we're going to get into the story. This lady,
and if you like more shows like this,
let us know. I am literally a crime show buff. I love these shows. So y'all want to chat to me about it, whatever y'all want to talk about in the comment section. I'll be responding, honey. But we're going to get right into it. This is actually a very horrible story. So this lady, her name is Faith Green. She ended up marrying, I guess he was a convict. But the thing is, she had always had a crush on him when she was 14 years old. He was in her church or whatever. Her daddy was a preacher. He was 24 at the time. She had a little crush on him or whatever, so that's how they knew him. Fast forward a few years later when she's now 30 and he's in his 40s. He apparently had gone to jail for quote-unquote self-defense from his pregnant wife. Apparently, I guess the neighborhood had known that he had gone to jail for apparently pushing her down the steps in self-defense. Red flag. So that's why he had went to jail.
So she met him in the church.
So he starts to come back to the church. But apparently, he was denied parole 4 times. Because 3 times. 3
to 4 times.
3 to 4 times. Yeah. Because there was he had no sense of remorse.
And so he was denied.
But nobody actually knew what had really happened with the wife. I mean, it was just hearsay from the neighborhood, and I guess that's what she knew as well. I'm guessing. But he actually went to jail for stabbing his wife and killing his unborn child. Right. He stabbed them multiple times. Yes. But she didn't know that. Yes. So he has come back to the church. She sees him, introduces herself again. Yes. Hey, this is me.
Her father was a pastor.
He was a pastor. Actually wrote him to come out of jail.
He actually wrote to the parole board when he was up for parole again.
Yes.
After being denied 3 to 4 I think it was 3 times actually. Being denied. And telling them, hey, he's a member of my church. He has been, he's been coming here and all this stuff. He did this act when he was 27 years old. He's, when he comes out, he's going to come back into the fold of the church, and
it will do whatever he can to rehabilitate him
and all this stuff. So this time, they gave him this opportunity to come back out of jail. But the father never really looked to see what had happened. Never really read his file to see exactly what had happened. He took him, I guess, at his word that it was self-defense. And pushed his wife. It was an accidental death, and pushed his wife with an unborn child, 7 months pregnant, down the steps, and she died. And it was an accident. And so that's what the father took it as. And I think what I was saying to you that maybe he was coming from a place of like, well, I'm a pastor, God doesn't question us about our sins. He forgives us, before we even come to him and all this stuff.
Well, God doesn't question you because he sees everything.
Exactly.
So that's what's funny.
You are the pastor. You're a human being. You don't know what is going on with this person.
You don't know
You're not
nothing.
closer to them than their jugular vein. So you should actually do your research.
I mean, when you're sinning, God sees
knows.
you.
He knows what the sins are.
Exactly.
You don't know. You must research because you're bringing someone in the fold of your church.
And then he didn't even, what was the word? He didn't research. He didn't ask. And then this man is dating your daughter.
Took his word for it, like an accidental death.
I don't want to say degenerate. Anyway, basically, so that's what had happened or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he hadn't asked. But by the time he had come back to the church, the daughter also did not bother to ask.
Okay. Oh, come on, Mama.
Is it gone?
It's gone. You almost like hurt me.
I'm sorry.
Okay. It's gone.
But yes. So what happened was, so she had met the guy or whatever, something like that in church,
and she had 2 children
by somebody else.
Yes, one was the boy. I think was 10. The daughter was 8.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so
Chadney and
Kara.
Yes.
Right. So she had met him, whatever. They started dating or whatever and stuff. Dating. Mind you, she did not ask about what he had gone to jail for. I guess she didn't really care to ask or whatever.
Right.
But they moved in together after 5 months.
He moved in with her.
Another red flag. And then after that, she finally decided, let me go ahead and start asking him questions.
Okay. It's not okay, it's gone. Okay. So anyhow, she decided to ask questions and all that stuff. And he told her, first he didn't want to answer, right? So, but she asked him, and very tentatively, and he finally said,
it was self-defense.
It was self-defense. We were fighting. She was hitting me, and I was trying to block her from hitting me, and I pushed her by mistake, and she, because I didn't want her to hit me, and his 7 months pregnant wife fell down the steps, and that's what happened. My thing was,
why do you have to defend yourself from a pregnant woman?
Even if she's hitting
it's not a grown man.
You can't walk away in the opposite direction. Like, come on. So anyway, he gave her that information. She started to see also that her daughter Kara,
was very fearful of him because he was just acting irrational.
To like him.
Yeah.
She said the daughter did not seem to like him. She had asked him one time to
hang some curtain rods. He had a temper tantrum, was acting the fool.
Get it up there, and he yelled at them. You guys better come and help me do these rods and whatever. Your mom always bringing dumb things for me to do. And so Kara was just like, why is he so upset? And the mom right away went into that mode of normalizing this behavior.
Normalizing the abuse.
The abuse of, when people get upset, that's just it. And then she goes to go help him. So it was, I guess later on, she found out that her daughter had been writing in her diary
about
him and saying, my mom is so obsessed with him.
And I said it before she even showed the next clip. I said literally, this girl cannot talk to her mom, because you were like, why don't you just talk to her mom? I said she obviously cannot trust her mom,
right? And
because the thing is, her mom is there. Like, I'm here trying to tell you, this man is being, like, he's scaring me.
Yeah.
He's being kind of threatening.
She will go and tell the man. She goes and tells what the daughter says.
Exactly.
So the daughter says, I can't even trust her to tell her anything, because
she'll go and tell him.
And tell him.
Yeah, and then also on top of that, it's like the mom also, she's completely, she's here trying to tell me that, well, kind of like doing gaslighting in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, what you're seeing is not what you're seeing, honey. It's not that big a deal.
Yes.
So calm down.
Yes.
So of course the daughter can't come and talk to the mom because you're not a safe space for her.
No, you're not.
So that's also another issue in relationships. Like, if you're with a man and you have a child, son or daughter, you have to be able to listen to your children. Because I feel like as adults, we kind of are tainted in a way. You know what I'm saying? Kids are really pure, and if they feel like something is very abnormal,
the more learned behavior you
learned
get
behavior,
from society and stuff like that. But the child is young.
She's untouched, really.
Yeah, she still has that. They're still just going to say what they feel, or what they see right in front of them.
Yeah, they're not going to try to rationalize it or make it make sense.
Diplomatic about it or anything like that.
So I always feel like if a child is reacting a certain way with somebody, they can probably see that what you're not able to see. You know what I'm saying?
And not only that, I don't feel 5 months. First of all, no one should be moving in with you. There's no commitment there. Nobody should be moving in with you. He certainly should not be moving in with you, but he did.
And he's a convict. So what are you doing with him? What are you doing with a convict? I know he ain't got no job.
It was just so odd. But then the other thing was, so anyway, her son liked him.
Yeah.
Her son, Chad.
But Cara did not like him.
He's more quiet. He seemed to get along with him. That was not any problem. So anyhow, she said she continued to see little things, his little outbursts, and so she had decided to leave him.
Yes, so this was before they had any kids, but then she got pregnant.
Then she found out she was pregnant.
She tried to leave him again.
So she came back to him, right?
Yeah.
I think this time they got married.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, after the first child, first I was a daughter called Kaylee. He continued. She said he was fine for like 2 months, and then it started again.
Yeah.
She left him again, and then she got pregnant with a second child, another girl called Koi.
Yeah.
And they came back together. But what she noticed this time was he would tell her things like he wanted a boy. He didn't want anything to do with
He was detached from the kids, but he was detached from the first one and the second one.
Yeah, he didn't want to feed them. He didn't want to help her change their diapers. Nothing. He was totally detached. And when she goes to try to ask him after she comes from work, he would just give her like this really mean look.
Right.
You know, and it was like scary. It started to like frighten her, you know. And one day she got home and he had turned on all the gas. She was smelling the gas. He had turned on all the gas in the house. And
he confessed that he was thinking about killing himself.
Yeah, he was sitting in the living room watching TV. And
drinking
she's like,
a beer.
What are you doing? And she said, don't you smell the gas? And he was like, oh, probably Kara, or he blamed his other daughter, Kaylee. Maybe they're the ones who left it on.
Right.
And she was like, no, they know not to do that. And he's like, well, maybe I just want to kill myself. I really just want to kill myself. And she's like, why do you want to kill yourself? Going into that mind, she's like, but you know, if you want to do something like that, you don't do it here, right? Then she said the other time what happened was her daughter had come to her with a loaf of bread, sliced bread. And she said, okay, go put that down. I'll make you a sandwich in a minute. And as she goes, he sees that the bread is squished, and he backhands her daughter on her thigh really hard.
Yeah.
And just really scares
her.
Yeah, and then she was like, don't you ever do something like that. So she started to think about trying to leave him. And she finally did leave him, actually. She finally did leave him. This was
but
like
also
her
he
third
was saying
time.
weird things. Like I think he had taken just the girls out with him, and he said that I wish it was just the four of us.
Yes.
Like we didn't have your other kids from another man. Like basically saying that.
And
so he was also saying weird stuff like that, which also is another red flag.
And
Go
so
ahead.
she was like, no, it's always going to be 6 of us, you know. So she finally decided that okay, she's going to leave him again, which she did this time.
Yeah.
She did. She was gone this time for 2 years. Right.
Yeah.
They were separated. But he will tell her like places to come meet him
in isolated places.
So she'll bring the 2 young girls who are his kids to come see him, and then he will not show up. And why she was even doing that, I don't know.
He was probably hiding in the bush somewhere.
Yeah,
though.
It seemed to me though that she was, and even actually before she left him, she said that he will come into the room and just stare over her. And she started putting pencils,
like holding
sleeping with pencils, like in her bathrobe, so that if he tries anything, she can stab him, you know, with these sharpened pencils. But so she had started to become very fearful of him, and so she decided to leave. So she left for him this time 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And things seemed to be on the up and up. Anyhow, and you know something? It seemed like though she left him in that house.
Yeah.
Because she moved out.
Yeah.
So he was in the house. So anyhow, she said they started to talk. They met up again, started to talk. She came back to him.
So this is the third time.
Now she came back to him. And
after a few more months, the same old,
2 more months, he starts again.
She decided that she was going to leave him again for the final
Even
time.
talking to the children about it. This is it. This is it. We're done.
At this point, I think he knows. I think
he knows. He can see it in the eye, and I'm sure. I feel as though he had already made up his mind.
Yeah.
That this time,
she will not leave me
alive.
Yeah.
And so what he did one night.
He wakes her up out of bed. He shakes her up, tells her get her ASS up. Go to the living room, and, at first she's the sun is there.
Yeah. So she goes there. She sees the sun,
and he's like, I don't know what's going on, whatever. He tells the son to zip tie the mother.
Yes.
So the son was like, no, I don't know what's going on.
Hold on.
Let's not do this.
And then he shows the gun.
Puts a gun up to the boy's head.
And says to zip tie your mom. So he zip tied her.
Yeah.
Then he zip tied Chadney. And
then the boy, and then Kara came in. He tells her to sit down. He zip ties her.
Right.
And then tells all of them to go down to the basement.
Yes. Lo and behold, he has taken the 2 younger daughters who were fast asleep. He already has them in the garage, in the car.
With the gas on, with the carbon monoxide on.
Right. And had put a tube in there. And they were asleep, though. They were asleep. So he knew as time went on, they were going to
die from the carbon monoxide poisoning.
So he put them on their face down. Mm-hmm. He starts yelling. First he asks her, do you want to see your children, your daughters? Yeah. And she said yes. Then he goes to the garage. He comes back. And then he says,
I'm going to make you suffer. I'm going to make you pay or whatever.
My girls will never be influenced by Kara.
And then he goes and he shoots Kara in the head twice.
In the head.
Then
her
he
face
shoots
is all like she's saying "mom" as blood is coming out of her.
We won't get into too much details.
I mean,
anyway, we're gonna link the episode.
Yes.
Yes, we'll show you that. It's on Discovery Plus. Just go to Evil Lives Here. True. The episode is in the description.
Then he shoots the son, and then he cuts her with his box cutter.
With the box cutter, and then he shoots her in the foot twice.
Yes.
But before he did that,
and then he calls 911.
Yes, then he calls 911.
And blames her.
Yeah.
That his wife is a pill. And this is why he has killed his entire family. But she's alive, though. Like,
the whole thing just was so heartbreaking.
It was very heartbreaking.
And as a viewer, you're kind of watching it and you're kind of like, what are you doing? Like the red flags is like this. Why are you doing this?
Until she was in the hospital, she did not. She
had no idea.
She thought her 2 younger daughter was still alive.
Right.
Then come to find out that they're actually dead.
And they wheeled her to go see them, and they were one of the first one was cold to the touch, and then the other one was still warm.
It took her a while to die.
Yeah.
And she said that's when she found out that
he had gone to jail
for his wife multiple times. His 7-month-old pregnant wife multiple times, and killed her. And so she was saying, if I had known really that gory detail, I will never have given him a chance. And the father said the same thing too. But even now, she doesn't talk to her father anymore. Now she's just on a mission to do all those things that she had wanted to do with her kids. Like she went to Cocoa Beach, wrote her kids' name in the sand, the 2 younger ones, because they always wanted to go to the beach. So she is doing things that they had wanted to do with their lives in their name, having scholarships and doing things like that in her name. But it was just so sad how many times she left, especially that time she left for 2 years and then came back. It's like that she did not. For me, what it showed was, and I just wondered how her life was with her parents, where some of these things probably were normalized. So she didn't think much of it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We have to get to a space as women where we are seriously allergic to any form of tiny bit of abuse.
Yeah, for sure.
Like where we don't give chances.
Yeah.
You know, like now from my experience, I always say, do not give a second chance.
Yeah.
To any man. Do not give a second chance. If he has hurt you one time, don't give a second chance. Because when you think about it, when I think of friends that I have had, just friends, regular friends, that we have been friends for over 2 decades,
Yeah.
We have never been in a space where we have been mean to each other.
Yeah.
Never with the friends I have. Never.
Yeah.
So when I think about that, I think to myself, then why was I taking all this abuse from someone who was supposed to be my best friend?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just like you, I mean, and I cannot imagine my friends acting the fool with me and me giving any chances. I would not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. And so, and I don't mistreat my friends. But why do we take that mistreatment from someone who we sleep with?
Yeah.
You know, it's almost as if we are like, we're like programmed to do something like that. Oh, well, you know, what, they love you more. I had a friend who, her husband used to beat her, like really slap her around and stuff like that. And when she talks about it, she'll be there with her eye almost shut and telling me, oh man, he beats me, he loves me. We got to get to a space. Someone beating you is not love. It's not because they love you so much and they get so jealous and so heated, that's why they hit you. We cannot be, we are getting, I think as a culture, and I don't know if it's because of what we're watching, all these stuff going on, that we feel like, oh, this is something, oh, it's normal, oh, it's no big deal, you know. We need to become so allergic to it that as soon as it comes in our presence, we have a reaction and like a tangible reaction to it. To be like, nope, this cannot be in my space.
Yeah,
at all.
I feel like the thing with Faith throughout this whole thing, I feel like she just did not understand the importance of really knowing who you should be with and who you shouldn't.
Yes.
She didn't know the importance of guarding her womb, and we talk about it on this channel all the time.
Yeah.
She didn't know the importance of all those things, which I feel like if any man comes to me and tells me he's a convict, I'm not even blinking at you. You will never see me. You'll never have my number. Like, you are a convict. I don't even care if you went to jail for money laundering.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have issues with people who have been convicts. Hey, that's fine. But if I did, am I going to sit down here and say, oh, you're going to be my partner, you're going to be my spouse, you're going to be my lover? No. That's not what I want for my life. So I feel like that should have been a red flag. But I'm not blaming her because I feel like she actually is just not self-aware. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I feel like as women, this literally could happen to any one of us. It really could. It can really be any one of us. Yes, absolutely.
Maybe I won't say that because I think even my younger self. Yes, definitely. That in my 20s.
Because you don't know who you're sleeping. You don't know who you really don't know that person. Yeah. It can literally be somebody.
And you will believe them. You will believe them when they say, oh, it was self-defense. I just pushed her and then you're like,
especially if you love that guy, and the thing is, this was her first love. I mean, I had my first love as well, and you just look at them with like this childlike thing in your eyes, like this person is so perfect. Yes. We could have been this, we could have been that. Like that first love is real, but that person has changed.
Not the same person.
It's honestly some of that stuff is hard for you to get over. And this was her first love, her first crush. She saw him in her eyes, 14 years old.
I know.
And she's like, he's a convict, but it's okay. My daddy has even talked to him and brought him in. She's probably thinking that she's probably even thinking that, oh, dad has done research, and obviously because she even said, if my dad had told me this, I would have never gone with him.
Yes,
but she's here thinking that
the dad did not know.
But she's probably thinking the dad has done his research. So hey, I can go see this guy. Yeah. But the dad didn't do no research either. But that's why I say, as women, it's so important for us to look at those red flags. This man is quiet. He's being reserved. This man's a convict. Your children are not trusting him.
Quiet is a very red flag for me.
It's a huge red flag because he's shy and introverted and quiet. No.
Don't give me don't call me a mystery here.
I don't want no mystery. My life is no.
I don't need to try to solve that mystery. No.
So it's a red flag. Yes. You know what I'm saying? But
he's not saying anything because he's being deceitful. Yeah. He has lies to cover. That's why he's keeping silent. It's not for any kind of, he's just quiet and introverted and, has that mystery about him.
And I also
Those are
feel
for romance novels.
And it's BS.
But that's in a book.
Because it's
a story. Not real life.
But yeah, so also I just feel like that whole thing that she was going through and what she was doing, I feel like there were so many red flags. And then also I feel like subconsciously sometimes, I wouldn't want to say, but I feel like subconsciously sometimes, I feel like she kind of got pregnant subconsciously. Like, she really wasn't ready to leave him.
You
know what I'm saying?
Absolutely
like, I feel like as women, we know the extents we can go through to make sure that we don't get pregnant. And if we really don't want to, we make sure that don't happen. You know what I'm saying? But every time she wanted to leave him, she would get pregnant. So I feel like subconsciously she was doing it. Maybe she was not aware. You know what I'm saying? And then also I know she said, like, you know, the thing is,
when she took the children, she will go meet him
in
wherever
isolated
he
areas.
wants to meet. No,
honestly,
you come meet me where I want you to meet.
And then also my thing is, like, she was still doing whatever he asked her to do, because she was still hoping that she was still that normalized abuse. I'm gonna do whatever he says. And also maybe thinking I still want to be with him. Maybe maybe she was still having those thoughts, so she was still doing whatever he wanted. But not only
that, because you were afraid of him, you left because of fear. What you should have done was go to the courts, so that you have, like, visitation, right? And then let them know, actually, I am afraid of him. I don't trust him. So that way, anytime he's with the children, someone is there with him at all times.
But she didn't take those steps. That's why also I feel like she was not completely serious.
Because you were fearful. When you left him, you were fearful. And so she had to probably, there's a conversation sometimes we have in our head as women to put it all in a nice little bow to come back to the abuser.
But also I feel like, she was just, she wanted him back, but also I feel like she just was not really self-aware. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like at some point she wasn't ready. They say, they usually say that for domestic abuse victims or whatever. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's any type of abuse. I mean, especially mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I feel like they said that it takes almost 7 times for you to really leave the abuser. You know what I'm saying? That's what they said statistically. And then also, I think that man was actually plotting to kill her all those times that he went to those isolated areas, because he wouldn't show up. Oh, he didn't show up to your face, but he was in the bush somewhere plotting on how to kill you. I would not put it past that man. So I feel like just there were so many red flags, and also I feel like the dad, that degenerate, failed her as far as I'm concerned. Because she's like, I don't even know how to feel about my dad at this point. Because it's because of you that you got him out of jail. But I feel like he had this godlike complex. I can help him. I can rehabilitate him. Even if he didn't have a god complex and he was just trying to be a good person. You research a convict. You see what they went to jail for. Like, that's your child. That's your daughter. Where is the provider? Where is the protector? Where is the father? Like, the father is supposed to be the first man that a woman ever loves. And that's supposed to be the first man who really protects and shields her, besides God or whatever. Well, anyway, we don't know. But that's my thing. So I just felt like he failed her.
And when she was giving that interview, that was 6 years after. After this incident, and she said she doesn't talk to her dad, so it's been 6 years. He was there at the funeral. He was the one who gave kind of eulogy. And he was saying, "Oh, Faith, you're so strong," and this and that.
I shouldn't have to be strong. I should not have had to go through this crap, because your ass should have done the research, daddy.
And her children's father, the one with the 2, Chadney and Kara's father.
He said, had I known what this man had gone to jail for, I would have, been done with more.
Well, I think he did not even know that.
Well, also, where were you?
Right.
Also, where were you, father? Where were you? You should have been. Had you been a proactive father, you would have been seeing all these weird things. Had you been a father who was there on a weekly basis, you probably would have been seeing that your daughter was fearful of this guy. So you also were not an active father. But that goes back to the degeneracy.
If she didn't feel safe with her mom, she should have felt safe with you.
To
tell you, Dad, I don't trust this man. For you to be able to be like, okay, I'm gonna tell her. Why don't you let the kids come with me?
But just one last note before we close out.
It was very sad.
I think also as a parent, a lot of the times, it's not so. It's at the end of the day, I feel like, because I've had my own experiences, but I feel like as children, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to sometimes go to your parents, because when you see them as an authority figure, you don't necessarily see them as a friend. I remember thinking of my mom like this perfect human being who could do no wrong, as we feel, because we feel like we can't necessarily talk to them for real. So I feel like with that, you have to, as a parent, I feel like you have to be even more clued in and kind of look at the nuances of your child and see the subtleties. And I feel like the mother, she could have seen it, but I feel like because she was so, the daughter said she was obsessed with the man. Because of that, she could not see the children what they want, what she needed from her mother. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And then also I feel like the fact that, you know, she couldn't come to her mom was also sad, because I feel
That
like the
was
mom
very
should have
sad.
been
That was
more
very
tuned in,
sad.
and I'm sure she beats herself up every day about it, so I'm not trying to get too much
Absolutely,
into
yeah,
it.
because she still has her
But
daughter's diary, and
yeah,
so she's reading all the things that were in the daughter's diary of how she really felt about this guy. In fact, she wrote down, "I hate Greg."
yeah,
Like she wrote that down in her diary, or "I don't like him at all," something.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, the whole thing
It's
is
tough.
just sad.
It's very tough, and now she's working with women, trying to let them know what the red flags are.
Yeah,
You know, so that they don't, I guess, make those same mistakes, you know, that she went through.
yeah,
And I feel sad for her because, yes, it's a mistake, but at the same time, it really could have happened to, and I'm sure it has happened, not as grotesque as this was, where the whole family is killed.
but if you stay in
But
something
in
long enough,
terms
it's good.
of being deceived by someone that you love and
Yeah,
that you're trying to see the best in and give them this second chance. I think a lot of times also as black women we do that. Like we really bend over backward to
Yeah.
give second chances, triple chances, I don't know, quadruple chances, like chances to infinity.
Yeah.
You know?
and beyond.
Yeah, but you
But
know,
yeah, this whole
what
story was sad.
it was very sad. But what I am happy about now, sometimes I hear, you know, our girls speaking, and I'm just like, wow, you know, they seem like they're awakening, like they're learning.
Yeah,
You know, they're looking for red flags themselves. You know,
yeah.
but sometimes, and we will see in the other story, you can do everything,
And it's
but-
still not good enough. But yeah, y'all, it's
Yeah.
Mary.
And
We invite you guys to like,
subscribe
share,
and comment.
down below your thoughts on this
I
story.
know, and let us know, like, tell us some of the red flags that are not in this story, but other red flags that, you know, other women can read, and, you know, you can teach another woman something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.